Before we start, I just want to give you a couple of instructions. So the purpose of this panel is not really for me to ask the questions for our amazing panelists. It's for you to ask questions within the topic. So initially, I'm going to be asking them the starting questions to kind of set the tone of the topic and so you understand what we want to talk about. But I encourage you, I can see the phones, yes, take a picture of the QR code and please post questions and also vote for the questions that already are posted so that they are prioritized and we can tackle them in order. This panel is going to take an hour and it's really time boxed because, as you know, we can talk all day. But the idea is that we finish up early so that we can have the cocktail and networking afterwards. So in that sense, I'm first going to invite my speakers to introduce themselves. So Pavle, maybe a couple of words about yourself. No, we are missing one mic.
Okay. Hello. Okay. Hi, my name is Pavle. I'm a UX designer and I help developers to build products, avoid costly revisions and delays by having a right design from the start. And yeah, I'm setting my own UX studio, by the way.
Thank you. This is working. So I'm Milos Platanic. I'm coming from the background of the product management for last 8 years, but I'm in the IT industry for last 14. So pretty much like transition from the traditional to agile and beyond that. So it will be very nice to discuss about different setups about product trios, but also extended roles here, so that are included into the product development.
I have one. Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Mickey. I come from a Munich-based company called Capmo. What Capmo does is that we try to digitalize German construction industry. I work as an engineer there, and what is interesting for this context is that I joined that company 7 years ago as a first employee pretty much, and thanks to, there was Vladimir somewhere, but he left. What is interesting that I can tell you how that basically looked from, you know, being like only a couple of us to years when we scaled and what it's currently state of the company and how that looks from like product design engineering. So I'm happy to share all of it.
Excellent. Yeah, so as you know, I mean, we've been talking here 2 days about the collaboration between different domains across the company. But in terms of product delivery and product development in general, the three most important roles are the role of designer, product manager, and product engineer. And that's kind of the collaboration that we want to talk about here today. So maybe first, just to set the stage, maybe each of you can share kind of how you're set up at the moment within your company. So whether, you know, designer is part of your team or not, PM is on the sidelines watching across the wall to the engineers, or do you actually work all together? So yeah, Miloš, maybe you can start now.
Yeah, I can start. So the last 4 years I spent in Doodle, so maybe how much of you know about Doodle? Maybe just raise hands.
Doodle? Anybody? Yeah. Doodle?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Okay, thanks. So it's a legacy product. When I say like legacy product, it's founded in 2007 by few students from HTech from Zurich, so and become like one of the lead scheduling platform for the group roles. So and then this company also going through many transitions, as you can say, from 2007 until now, and the latest transition was actually one of the things that we introduced the product trio setup, and from advised by Teresa. So Teresa also was one of the leader that we was inspired from this, but also that we want to have the setup with the 3 players in the team, which is the main the tech lead or engineering person, the product management and designer. But also, I must say that we extended those roles with other roles inside the team, which is the UX researcher and the data analyst. So also those two, let's say, roles are sometimes crucial in the beginning of the product discovery. So this is the setup right now that Doodle has.
Yeah, thanks. Mickey?
Yeah, I can continue. So the question really is, if you have a product and then you have some roles that needs to be there in order to make that product successful, the question is, what is the most efficient way you can arrange all these roles together to produce like most resources for like least spent resources? For us, what we figure out over the years, we try like all different kinds. There is like engineers, then you divide engineers into groups like web, mobile, you put them in a room. Then you have product managers that they kind of stay together and then they meet sometimes to discuss certain things that usually doesn't work, at least for us. What we learned that works quite really well is that you have product, you slice it into some verticals, and you assign dedicated team to it. And that means that usually we have one product manager, there is a designer, and there are engineers. That's only one part. What we realize, it's like crucial to that to make it work, that the whole team owns outcomes of the verticals of the product they're managing. What that means, it's not like, hey, I'm going to do my engineering work and you just give me some Jira ticket, give me some designs, I'm going to do it. It doesn't work that way. It's more like we own from really beginning. So when you start like discovery work, all right, of course, product manager is going to lead that part because that person is most capable for that part. But at the same time, that means that we as engineers, we're going to be there to kind of maybe just logically check if what that person is saying makes sense. So then it goes to like discovery work where we do more designs, but as well, it's not that only designer is going to sit there and just put some designs all together, but rather get all the input from product manager. But because designer was involved with product manager at discovery, so he knows already a lot, and then engineers are like later implementing, of course, with support with both of them. So it's super important that the whole product feels ownership of the whole outcomes.
Clear, yeah. Pavle?
Yeah, so I will give you a context. I'm doing a lot of freelance in the last several years, so I work with various companies. Big, small, medium, rich, poor. But I will tell you about my, let's say, last engagement. I work for outsourcing company. They hired me to help them to build some AI tool that we'll use for risk assessment. No details there. But the tool basically gives users ability to upload documents, analyze document, and then risk officers can chat with that tool, with those documents, to assess the risk of certain company. Setup was, I was included as a designer, there was one project manager, and there were like 2 developers, I think. Also, there was like external product owner, and basically that was a client. In that setup, we had, each had its own role, responsibilities, and goals. Well, that's the setup at least. I think that works really well, as long as the people knows what's their role, what's their goal. The efficiency within the team works very well. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe to touch on the extremes in your career that you've either experienced personally or heard of, like whether it's the extremely good setup or extremely bad setup. Maybe something from there. Do you want to start? Yeah, I see yes, you're nodding. Yes. Go.
First, I will start with extreme bad experience. Imagine that you are basically an extensive arm of your client, and you just need to push the pixels based on his instruction. So yeah, that was really, educative experience, both for me and my client. the best experience comes from working with, I would say, large companies or medium to large companies. In most cases, because they have a budget, they have time. What's important is the organization itself, the people itself there. The communication is really important. Understanding what each role does, understanding the goals of each person in the team. I worked, I believe, 5 years ago for a company which was not big, but it was the best experience because everybody has understanding the process of the development, design, product management. I think that's the key.
Thanks. Miloš?
So when I look about the different setups through the companies, I say like the typical, maybe traditional or old setup of the collaboration between the product design engineering is handing over. So you as the product manager, excluding researcher roles, starting to discover some problem, find interview with the users, define, then you go and hand over to design. So then design try to making the UI for it and try UX, and with don't having like knowledge from the past or from the source that discovery has been made. So that only hand over some requirement, let's say. And then those requirements hand over to engineering, which need to build again without previously understanding why and what are doing and how. So those hand over in the traditional companies and even in the big companies, like working the Ticketmaster for almost 3 years. It's like huge companies, enterprise companies that have funds to hire really talented people, but also this process is very slow. So handing over from one silos to another silos and going back, taking ages. So it's everything but not agile. And I think this is let's say not worst setup, but traditional setup that also spend a lot of time that we can use it differently. So maybe.
Yeah, thanks.
So I guess fortunately we haven't had any like dire situation where situation was so bad, but usually where the problems from our experience happen is that when we hire people who mostly focus, like connecting to what I previously said, only focused on their individual work. And it's really hard to build on top of it. It's really hard to collaborate with people, all right, the designers, they're like, all right, I'm gonna do my Figma thing, I don't care about anything else. Same with engineers, give me my stuff, I'm gonna write code and be done. Because then there is like a lots of things that are super important that happen in between, and then if you don't have people who are willing to collaborate and leave their like comfort zone, it's really hard to work with. And usually, as soon as we hear something, yeah, it's not my job, like in our company, it's like mostly means that we're gonna part soon. So that's how we protect our culture.
Interesting.
So, sounds harsh, but yeah, it works.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But that kind of brings me to my next question. So if everybody is collaborating so closely, is there an overlap between the roles? Like, how much do the product manager and designer collaborate versus does the product manager kind of go in a bit into the design, engineering, or something else, or vice versa? Kind of, where are the lines?
Yes, and the lines are usually not cut like in straight lines, and you know when war ends and next thing like starts. It's mostly like if we talk about, for example, design engineering, there are like design topics that maybe when you use some design system or something, there are like certain things that these designers want to introduce, but then it's like adds super, like a lot of complexity on like engineering side of things. So we then go and negotiate, all right, could we like maybe reuse this from this other place so that we can simplify things a lot. So these kind of things happen. Same for product management. So what usually like can cause issues is that product managers don't talk to engineers early in discovery work. The question was, oh, well, why would we talk to engineers? They're going to do delivery part. But there's like, you wouldn't believe, you have all these like engineers. They're like usually super logical. And then you as a product manager, you can just go and test your hypothesis that you have. Maybe we don't have like context of the business, but you can tell, all right, this is what I think, you know, this is how this is going to roll out. What do you think? And usually engineers you have for freedom, for free. So they're there for free, and then you can ask, what do you think about it? They're usually going to tell, oh, this doesn't make sense because this thing doesn't, you know, logically apply to this thing. And then you de-risk things a lot just, you know, with what you have in-house. So that's super powerful to use.
Yeah, thanks. Miloš, maybe?
Yeah, so interesting part regarding the involving engineering in the beginning of the phase of testing some hypotheses. I see the big risk here about as you know, the feasibility, because if we invest a lot of time in discovery and define, and then we realize that this is like cost us to build like, I don't know, too much, and we actually drop this project, so we actually lose the money, lose the time. So we lost something. So involving engineering in the beginning, it's not like that you involved in the fully discovery process or what, but involving them in the beginning of something idea, and they say like, no, this is not working for us in any reason. I think you actually could eliminate those ideas and then park them for later to discovery. Because also for discovery, if you work on some discovery now and then you want to build it like, I don't know, 1.5 or 2 years after, it's not the same discovery. So your work, what you have been done with users are waste, and you create waste. So I think this is the part where the engineering or some parts of the engineering leaders is important to be involved in the beginning of the phase. Yeah.
I will start statement by I believe that each role should have been responsible for what they do. The overlap between roles can happen, but for example, me as a designer, I don't have right to tell developer how to program certain things, do development, and I think it's rude. That leads me to each person is hired by the company to do its own magic, its stuff. Again, the collaboration is the key. When I say collaboration, I think about giving constructive feedback to each another. For example, I really love when team members reach out to me and just give me suggestions or tell me something is wrong with your design. I appreciate that. But when somebody tells me, "Hey man, can you just change the color from blue to green, right?" Yeah, that's not yeah. For example, the last engagement I had, we really had split roles. Each team member had its own responsibilities, and the process was super smooth. So clear requirements from project manager. Clear specification developers had in front of them what to develop, how to structure database or whatever. And on the other side, I have clear user stories, for example, which I utilize fully. And that leads us to less than a month of delivering the product, delivering actually the MVP for the client.
That's actually kind of where I wanted to take this further. So if everybody has clear set responsibilities, how are the goals set? Are the goals set for the entire team, or are they set per their own domain or individually on the personal level? How does that work? For instance, in your example that you just shared, how did that work?
Yeah, great question. I think there is no one goal. There are multiple goals. There are business goals, product goals, personal goals like position goals. As a team member in that company, we shared same like a product goal. We needed first to understand the client business goal, his business plan, what he wants to do with that product. Together, we needed to understand who the user is and why we are building something for them and how we should build that. But that's the shared goal, right? And then when it comes to daily activities, every person had its own like task list, what to do, how to do, when to do. For example, my goal is one of the tasks to deliver like wireframes, for example. So that was my goal. But with that in mind, developers and product manager could do review, understand how to maybe build something, maybe even what technology to use, depending on layout, structure, whatever. So I think there's multiple goals there, but one big goal is to basically deliver to the client what he asks for.
So regarding the goals, I would say that having different goals is also typical setup that the company has, because each department has own head of department, each head of department has own setup, and the bigger company is, or the corporation is, this goals tree become more complex and complex. And you mentioned personal goals and development goals. So we end up in some situation that because of development for some personal goals, so for example, we need to promote, there is like a career path for some of the team members that want to be promoted and need to fill some skills matrix things. So he like choosing the projects by choosing the project that that he can or she can contribute to the personal goals. So how is it doing? Like giving like big estimates to other projects, if engineering, giving or manipulating with the goals in order to reach some personal goals, personal OKRs, or personal things. And especially if you're working in corporation, this could be a very toxic environment because of the not having like overarching goal. The best, again, the setup maybe you mentioned is actually the whole team has the same, I will not say like product goal, I will say like team goal. Like the whole team, including all these roles from the product trio plus and many others that are included, have the same goal, and they are measured by those goals. When you set up this kind of metrics for the whole team and everyone aligned, then you start rowing in the same direction. Until this has been reached, I think there is big friction in the, let's say, motivation of the people, or what they are doing and why. So
does that mean, Mickey, then in your organization you have a joint goal as a team?
Yeah, exactly. So we have, I think, 6 teams as of now. So each team owns certain parts of the product. We, of course, have overarching like company strategy, and the teams within this strategy set out their own goals. And they're like, as you, Miloš, mentioned, there are like different tools that one can use. We use OKRs, and we set like objectives that we want to achieve. Someone already talked today about it. It's super important that these are like outcome-based metrics, not like output. And then we as a team, we kind of figure out on our own how to get there. We basically measure, and that doesn't include, all right, do engineers need to like do more like coding, designs needs to more do designs? We don't know. Like we have what we want to achieve, so how we get there, we're gonna figure out as we go. And that's where this like collective responsibility kicks in, because if designs are not prepared or something, it's not working out, we as a whole team gonna fail. No, it's not only design gonna fail or only engineering, we all as a team gonna fail. So that's why we all try to like collaborate together, and we all have in best interest of each other to kind of push each other to kind of go forward, otherwise we all fail. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. I'm going to go now through the questions from our audience. So the first question is, what do you expect from a product manager in your company? So I'm guessing this one is for you, Mickey, and for Pavle.
What we expect, I mean, they're like clearly defined expectations, at least
What
should
do
be.
you personally,
So, yes,
let's start there.
What is expected that product managers is the one in a team who needs to know where we are going. So, you know, it needs to understand what we are probably trying to solve, you know, who is like target group. So all these like discovery side of things are super important. That's our expectations. And whenever we see that, for example, our product managers spend time on some dumb stuff like filling out Jira tickets or something where we haven't yet figured out the most important thing, then we are like, all right, screw this, I'm gonna take over, I'm gonna do this, you go and figure this out. So this is like super important. And one other thing that we already mentioned, please use your colleagues who are already there. So if you have ideas, just ask, hey, you know, engineer, what do you think about this? Designer, what do you think about this early on? Because like if you get this early feedback, like it's less expensive down the road to like correct them.
Pavle?
Yeah, hard question. Well, first thing first is, as a designer, I expect from product manager to basically, let's say, onboard me with the product. So to explain me what the product is about, what product do, what the features are, who is the user, you know. That's the like most essential thing that I would expect from the product manager. But I think the most important thing for me is to probably be my best friend during during the project. By that I mean to have reasonable and collaborative process with the product manager, because he's the one between the management, upper management, and the rest of us. So yeah, I mean, I expect to be like a really good friend there, and to hand me, give me a hand, and provide me answers on the questions, guidance in certain times in depth. So yeah, that's what I expect from the product manager.
Yeah, I don't know whose question it is, but did we answer it? Yeah. Okay, I see some nods. Cool. Let's take another one. How do you communicate with marketing and sales? And this is really, it has a lot of likes. So who wants to take this one?
I can start. So marketing and sales, so what we use this department basically to get our product on the market. And it's not marketing's team responsibility to ensure that things work out what we are having. So that already comes to what was previously said. We as a team own outcomes, and marketing and sales are just tools that we use to kind of achieve that. So it's our job to go ensure that marketing has like the best marketing emails, whatever goes there, that sales understand the core value of our feature, that they are like doing correctly in sales calls. So we need to ensure that everything is working out, because again, ultimately it's our own team's responsibility that what we create, at the end we make money, because otherwise we're wasting our time. So yeah.
So is there a regular process that, I don't know, meetings weekly or quarterly, or do you do daily some kind of updates? What type of updates do you do? That kind of thing. So
as organization scales, that becomes more and more challenging. So at some point you can have certain processes, but because like different teams can be in different stages of different features, so you can't always predict. So it's more sometimes ad hoc. So you need, all right, we need to ship this by end of this quarter, so we now need to start thinking how we're gonna move this to marketing so that we have some early engagement, how we move that into sales. So we need to educate the sales people how to do it. So we need as a team to think all of it. And if you think it's not only like engineering, should engineers do it? No. Like, is it a designer job? No. On a paper, is it product manager? Maybe. But then who gonna do it? And with us, we kind of, it's our job. It doesn't matter who gonna do it. It's more like we see, all right, who is available, who is fit to do it. So it's more like sometimes I'm gonna out of my engineering comfort zone and do some of these things because my team depends on it. So it's case-to-case basis.
Okay, thanks. Miloš?
So I have a little different approach here. So first, we don't have sales. So we had like enterprise sales team, very expensive in States, and as we switched to enterprise, to SMB business, we actually shut down the whole team. So now whole business are relying on the product-led growth approach and all the subscription comings from the site. But go-to-market teams and marketing is ultra important because it's our like ultimate lead generation, how we are promoting our product. So we have like bi-weekly things with them. That's fine, but on regular stuff. But when you kick off some project, when you have like a discovery kickoff, so you invite them to be as a part of this group because you need also to, let's say, promote those new features or solve some problems in the beginning that you need to actually bring the customers to your website or to your product as well. So then actually when the development starts and we parallel to then preparing the marketing and everything regarding the product marketing. I saw also questions regarding the product marketing manager as well. So they doing this in the parallel and preparing the launch together, the go-to-market teams together with engineering. And then we are, of course, about deadlines always is communicating is interesting, but when we reach some consensus when we are going to release that, then we join forces with marketing and engineering to release and launching. So yeah, regular plus project based. Yeah.
Who is responsible on leading that coordination?
Product manager. So one of the responsibility managing all the stakeholders, including the go-to-market teams. Yeah. So. But that doesn't mean that engineering or designers can feel actually explain what product are doing in each of these calls. So product manager is not needed, but is responsible to make this communication actually happens. So.
Most of my engagements with various companies in the last several years, a bit funny, but marketing department and product department were kind of two separate companies within a company. So one side doesn't know what other side do and vice versa. Sometimes I've been pushed to be in between. For example, when I finish some feature on some app, let's say, someone manager asked me, "Hey, Pavle, can you just go and help marketing, with something?" I didn't know what something means, but I said, "Sure, yeah, I will go." And then the marketing have no idea what the feature is about, what is going to be built, next, and their goal was to promote that mostly on website or social media or whatever. So yeah, that was my experience. I believe like the middleman there, who understands the product, and yeah, because when you say you're a designer company, everybody assumes that you can do everything, like a logo, print design, UX design, or whatever.
Website design.
Website design, yeah. So yeah, that was my experience, and yeah.
By the way, did you enjoy that?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thanks. Just to check, did we answer this question or do we have some underlying questions? No? Okay, cool. Moving on. So the next one says, according to your opinion, at what time did PM as an abbreviation started primarily reflecting to product manager instead of project manager? Yeah, I mean, this is such a wide and general question, but yeah, let's hear some opinions.
Yeah, so just opinion. So from my perspective, it was like 6 to 8 years ago when there is also companies that are building product, not only delivering some outsourcing companies that delivering. So I think as the product companies become like larger numbers, that also the position and the PM abbreviation was the more dominant and more acronym for the product managers. So.
Yeah, Mickey.
Yeah, this triggers some flashbacks because like whenever I accidentally mention like product manager, they're like why we are not product manager, we are product managers. And then I learned like early on not to call them project managers. So that's interesting, but yeah, long story short, I guess, because like we are at the end like building product, and within product you have like lots of projects that are happening like in all verticals, horizontally, and it's hard to kind of then manage them, whereas like I guess for us it's like product manager makes more sense because like then we don't waste time on this like going back and forth in communication.
Okay. Do you want to share opinion on that? No. Okay, fair enough. Okay, thanks. So maybe to take another question, which skills are the most important for product manager from your point of view? So that would be actually an interesting question because we have different points of views. So kind of what are the skills that you would kind of value the most in product manager? Do you want to go?
Oh, I'm so ready for this one.
Yeah, you are?
Yes,
okay.
I'm so ready for this one. So one, definitely product managers need, I mean, that probably applies for everyone, but need to be humble. Because like you wouldn't believe how many product managers we talk to, they're like, oh yeah, this is gonna go, why, you know, where's data, something. No, just believe me, like it's gonna work out, and then quarter 1, 2, 3 passes and results are not there, and there is always some excuse, and usually, you know, that results them leaving. So it doesn't work. Then be humble. And then what is important for product managers to understand really things end to end. So you're building something that someone needs to use to solve their problem, and you know it needs to be painful enough for them to pay us. And where product managers usually get lost is in this company hierarchy. They then rush, you know, they heard that, you know, our chief product says this, and then, you know, that's way to go. And then when you start talking arguments, then it's really hard to find reasons, and they're like really stuck in that area. I'm like in a unique position in a company where I'm like really long and I know almost everyone in a company, and then I can go to whoever and challenge right there. And people who are like new to the company, they usually kind of, oh no, this senior person told me this, so I need to stick to it. Whereas, you know, what we expect that you really have arguments why, you know, you have that opinion, otherwise, you know, things are not working out, and then we are having discussions where then I'm not going to be discussing with you, but I'm going to go to your senior and discuss there right away. I don't need like someone in between to discuss that, so yeah.
I would be interested to hear from Pavle about this one.
Yeah.
So what do you expect from PM?
Yeah, so first thing is project manager first needs to be a human, you know. Oh, product. Oh, sorry, yeah. But same applies for him. Same applies for him. So the product manager needs first to be human. The matter of skill set is secondary thing, you know. If you know Jira, cool. If you know to run a meeting, that's cool. But if you don't have empathy, if you don't understand the people beneath you, then skills won't save you in that way. So yeah, that's my opinion actually.
What are some kind of the description of some of the best PMs that you worked with?
Yeah, one of the best PMs I worked with. I think the way how he can understand other people. So the way he talks, the way how he listens to you, the way how he processes the inputs, you know, the other team members provide to him. I think that's the best quality of what product manager could have, you know. no matter if he's using Jira, Notion, you know, running a meeting in I don't know, Google Meets or Teams, that doesn't matter, you know. But that part when you know he sits with you and starts talking with you, that's the important thing.
Yeah, thanks. Miloš?
Yeah, thanks. So I think it's hardest for me. So I think that there is no unique skills for the product manager. So that you said like choose one. Why? Because different teams and different organization needs different product managers. And depending when we hire a product manager for some role, we have in mind what we need and expect from this person. So if it is platform team, so I'm going to hire somebody with tech background and also having also some tech skills for this one. Is this the customer-facing product manager? Then I will ask skills that are having for the customer. But in the general collaboration, of course, that's most important because number of the roles that you need to communicate with, but also, as Mickey told, it need to be objective. So we live in the world where we have like really flooded of the data, both quantitative and qualitative. So you can imagine that everyone's approaching to you, holding it for hands and say like, this is feature that we need to build from, especially CEO, CPOs. So they like this one. So this must gonna work. So, and then you need to convince them that they are wrong. And you need to spend your time as a PM to convince that they are wrong because there is no market for them, there is no big impact, there is no reach or whatever. So I think that you as a product manager you're like a judge. So you're a judge, you're standing on the court and everybody feeling you, coming to you with lots of information and in the end you make decisions based on this decision, but it's not your decision. It's a team decision that you made and based on every information that you collectively got. So I think the objectiveness is the most important general skill that you'll say for product managers. So.
Yeah, thanks. Just to check, does anybody have any questions on this? No? Okay. Thanks, Miloš, for the encouragement. Yeah. The next question is how to get away from delivery-first approach and convince people higher up to become more discovery research-oriented. So just first to check, does anybody have any experience with this? Yeah? No? Yeah? Okay, Mickey, go.
I'm so ready for this one as well, like really good questions. All of this needs to come from company culture. So you have people who maybe are oriented, all right, let's ship. And then if you want to try, all right, let's, hold our horses, let's do proper discovery research work. And if people are not within themselves in in positions of power, let's call that, then you can't do much. And then I work with mostly like German people there, and what they learn compare like to people maybe in this region where it is like super interesting. We tend to complain a lot. Like we say, oh, like look, this guy, it's a stupid guy. I don't want to deal. Like fuck this. I'm just gonna, I did my part, and then I move on. But even if you can't change, what's your job? It's to do your best. To push, try, different approaches, like whatever you can think of, and then, then in that way, you're not just someone, hey, complaining, this guy is stupid, let's forget that, but rather you do what you can, and then if that doesn't work out for you, it's to leave. If you want to basically find something else, somewhere else where this is like in better position. So my answer would be this is like super important that comes from a company culture. And if you're looking for companies where this is like really put in place, look that they have like cultural fit, that they basically have that from beginning, because otherwise from our experience, from the people who we hire from like larger companies, it's like super tough to fix, and that's why we protect this like so jealously. Like we put a lot of effort not to lose that one, because it's really hard to claim back.
Just a follow-up question. So you think that culture has a huge impact on how to implement a change within the organization? Is that kind of, if I sum it up? Did I get that right?
Yes. Culture, and mostly when you build a company, that comes from the founders. So founders build up some initial things that later, as organization gets larger, are usually built on top of it. And usually, it's not that far from what's early built on. And that's, from our experience again, super important that's set up early on, because later on it's really hard to fix. And then usually people who are new in organization, who are not used to like be focused on delivery first, it's really tough to fix. And then it just going back and forth doesn't work.
Okay,
So.
Miloš, Pavle.
Yes, so regarding the delivery first approach, I think it's again coming from the stakeholder, and that's you need something to deliver, and then when we, I don't know, reach some investments or whatever, then we will do proper discovery. But this will fail. so I've been there many times. So why this fail? Because usually you don't have too much evidence about what you are delivering or building, and then this is fail, and then you're going back to the discovery research, and you lost time and the money. So I'm not for it, but I can understand the business, and sometimes there is need to be visibility of something or working something. I understand this, but yeah, my approach is not doing that if not needed.
Yeah, you worked in a couple of different product organizations, so I'm kind of interested to hear, did you at any point encounter kind of the feature factory, which is basically, deliver. We have this list, let's just deliver. Did you have experience with that, and how was that?
Yeah, and as Miloš said, it's not necessarily bad. So feature factory was not necessarily bad because it's part of the if company going in the direction to be product led or sales led or whatever. It's a part that you actually making your team productive, so that you establish the process, you have the list, whatever the list are for the feature, and you make the team productive in this feature factory mode, and then you can also evolve in something more seriously. So I'm not sure answering the question, but yeah,
it is.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, in different companies is a different setup, as I said, but pretty much like I don't see like this is a like very big problem. It's more bigger problem. Opinions, so this is a different question.
Thanks, Pavle. Do you want to?
Yes, I was thinking about this question, and I was wondering in my head, was this one of these situations where the client told me, hey man, we want to build this, just do that, right? And based on experience, you feel that maybe it's not a good idea to build like that, right, without doing some discovery. The question is how to get away from that. So I would say one of first responsibilities as a designer is to have some sort of, to be advisor first, right? To be transparent and tell that person, whoever that person is it client, is it stakeholders or someone third, doesn't matter, is to push back a bit, try to see, how they react to that. But the whole point is, before trying to get away from that, is to collect a data that you can use to back up your, your pushback. Building product for something or building feature for someone, the client doesn't know who the user is. The first instinct is, well, let's first do discovery, right? Let's see, do they need like, these functionalities or that functionalities? Sometimes it works, that pushback, sometimes it doesn't, so, my motto is, if I'm paid to do that, I will do, but first I will advise.
Thanks. So we're kind of getting close to the end of our time, so we're not going to take another question because we will definitely break it through. So I'm just kind of try and wrap this up. So maybe we can reflect and just talk a little bit, what is the ideal collaboration between the designer, product manager, and engineer? What do you want to see? What is your kind of wishful thinking, if you like? Who wants to take this one?
Yeah, I guess I will take over. So what it's an ideal setup is that what causes a lot of harm, it's like how conflicts are handled. So, you know, there is a book that we use in our organization for that. It's called like Radical Candid. I don't remember who, Candor. I don't remember who is writer. I always forget, but it's really good one. It's how you approach people, like whenever you have to communicate something to them, if you think that something could be done better, like in our organization, usually that's not really a problem. We have like a lots of conflicts, but it's not big of a deal. Like we sit together, I give my view, how I perceive things. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm right. It just, I give you opportunity that we discuss this. It's up to you to decide if you want to take it or not. So, you know, from there, then trust, it's built up, then, you know, a lot of respect, it's built up more than just, you know, I'm engineer, you're like PM, you're like designer. And from there, like a lots of cool things usually happen, so yeah.
Thanks. Miloš, Pavle?
Yeah, I will be very short about that. So, ideal working environment for the product Trios Plus is empowerment of the team. So that your management totally empower this group of people for decision making and for this small scope, of course, or bigger scope, but for some scope of the product that totally empower those people that they know what they're doing and that have like actually trust and about when to deliver that. So this is the little like ideal case. It's not every time like this one, but this will be my take from this to be empowered.
Thanks.
I would say for me, from my point of view, ego in people is the biggest obstacle in having right collaboration. What I wanted to say is people sometimes, not always, tends to try to fit into your role, and that's a deal breaker, and that's not the way of working. I think everybody needs to understand and respect the other side. So if you're a developer, do your job. I believe you. I have trust in you. If you're a product manager, yeah, do your job. I believe. I wouldn't tell you what to do, how to do. I will question maybe certain things. That's fine, but not abstract in that way. So the point is just put your ego aside. That's it.
Okay. So put your ego aside. Make sure there's trust and good communication, and there shouldn't be any conflict because we're on the same side working towards the same goal. Thank you. Thank you for our panelists, and thank you everybody for your questions. We're gonna have a wrap up now. Dragana and Kai are gonna join us, but that's all from the four of us. Thanks.
Thank you.